I said, quit judging my judging. I did. When I said, am I wrong for judging? You know what he should have said? Because he's not allowed to judge. Guys, everybody judges. So what's it talking about? This goes with Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7 opens with, judge not that you be not judged, for with the judgment that you judge, it shall be judged to you again. With the measure you mete, it shall be meted to you again. Let me tell you a really great theory. I call this a theory of Christianity. It'll never happen. Don't worry, it'll never happen. I think this would be an idyllic situation if when someone did bad, we said they did bad. And when someone did good, we said they did good. Don't you think that'd be nice? Oh, you guys are looking at me like that's how you already operate. Let me tell you the one word that overrides that ruling right there. Family. When somebody does bad, they're bad. Unless it's my kid. Unless it's my friend. Unless it's somebody that I like. Then I think they had a right to put an ice pick in that guy's eye. That's just one of those things you do. We will justify anything that the person we like, we will justify anything that they do. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody did good, we said they did good? But come on, man, there's somebody you don't even like. And when they do good, you go, I don't believe it. You think it's some kind of a plot. You know what would be nice? What would be nice is if we judged. And we judged with the judgment we wanted to be judged with. And what that meant was that if somebody did bad, it was bad, even if it's your brother, even if it's your mother, even if it's your daughter, even if it's your son. If they did it and they did wrong, you said you did wrong. Let me tell you what happened. I had a pastor call me one time, and there was a situation in his church. And we have, in our churches, we have a classic statement. This is a wonderful statement. It's called bad situation. Oh, bad situation. That is everything from hiccups to nuclear war. I mean, we just say, oh, he's got a bad situation. I mean, you can see this guy. You can go to pastor church, and they are tarring and feathering the pastor, and we would go, oh, that's a bad situation. Guy could walk in, put a gun to you, and say, I'm going to shoot you, and you go, excuse me, I have to go now. I have a bad situation. We just call it, we call it all a bad situation. This guy had a bad situation. The bad situation, there was a young lady in his church. No, there was no problem with this pastor and this young lady. No. But there was a problem with this young lady, and she was guilty of everything everything that had been brought forth. And he called me up, and he said he had a real option for some. I mean, this was where he didn't have to have mercy. He could have nuked her and been justified in everything he did. And he said, what do you think I should do? And I said, you could, and I went down through the, capital punishment route. I mean, humiliate her, destroy her, kill her, curse her, never talk to her, blah, blah, blah. I said, or you could have some mercy, and I'm not for just letting people go when they do wrong. You understand? But he said, well, which one you think I ought to do? I said, I think you ought to do the one that you would do if it was your daughter. I said, just do that one. If this guy would cut off his daughter's head, then cut off this girl's head. If this guy would have mercy on his daughter, then he better have mercy on someone who's not his daughter. You know what he did? He had mercy. And 6 months later, the same situation rose up in his church, and it was his daughter. And boy, I'll bet he was glad he didn't line her up against a firing squad. But he had the same judgment for them both. Guys, you are going to judge, okay? You can judge, it's all right. But you just better remember that the judgment you're judging with, it better not be fogged over with family glasses, and I don't like that guy anyway, or whatever the case may be. It better not be tinted, it better not be tainted, it better not be leaning in some direction that you got a personal involvement, a conflict of interest, because that's going to alter it there. But then when it's somebody else and somebody you like, or somebody you don't like, you're going to judge them in a different way, and you will be judged with that same kind of judgment. Beware. Look what it says here furthermore. Verse 37, judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not. and ye shall not be condemned. You know what condemnation is? Condemnation is not judgment. Judgment is when you say, so-and-so did wrong. That's judgment, correct? Somebody in church goes out and gets drunk, and you say, they got drunk. That's not condemnation. That is judgment, and it's a correct judgment. They were bad for getting drunk, right? You know what condemnation is? Condemnation is the sentence that you put on them for the wrong that they did. Do you understand that? The book said, condemn not. We are good at condemning. You know what? You know why we condemn people? Because God won't. I didn't say God doesn't condemn sin. I didn't say God doesn't get upset with it. God just doesn't kill as fast and furiously as we would. Now, I'll give you an example. This is the classic. And I got the classic question asked to me one day. I get it not frequently, but occasionally. This pastor and I, he's driving. We're driving down the road. I'm having a meeting with him. And he says, Brother Gipp, let me ask you a question. When they start out like that, I just want to jump out of the car. I just may as well, just do a face plant right in the asphalt and just forget the whole thing because I know it's going to go downhill. But he goes, let me ask you a question. I said, okay. He said, what do you think of divorce and remarriage as a disqualification for the ministry? And I said, brother, I believe if you have got a heartfelt conviction. I'm not into this conviction is a check mark on a piece of paper. You better have a heart conviction. Doesn't that mean God convicted you? It's a novel idea, huh? And I said, if you've got a heartfelt conviction that a man who is divorced and remarried should not be in the ministry, you got an illegitimate conviction. When I said you have an illegitimate conviction, this guy liked to drove off the road. He liked to wreck his car. He said, how can you say that? I said like this. If you have a heartfelt, no. He said, why do you say that? I said, brother, if you look at, and I know what you think because where I went to school, I'm trying to justify somebody's divorce. I'm not least bit interested in it. I said, if you read 1 Timothy chapter 3, I said, there's a list of qualifications for the pastor, and I said, there's 16 of them. And I said, nobody ever talks about Titus chapter 1, but there's another list in Titus chapter 1, and there's 16 in that list. I said, if you take those two lists and superimpose them on each other, there's a couple of them that are doubled up. Eliminate the doubles. I said, you've got 21 or 22 qualifications for the pastorate. I said, if you make a big deal out of one of them and ignore 21 others, you are not honest. Now, is that right? Hey guys, I can take you to guys who have never been divorced. And they are not given, that's the word. Not hospitality, given. You know what? Look, I'm not for social drinking, don't social drink. But if a guy had a glass of wine with the meal, is he given to wine? No, he had a glass of wine. The wino that can't stop, he is given to it, correct? An alcoholic, a guy that has a beer. I'm not for it. You understand? If you're drinking it, I hope God flattens your tires, wrecks your car, does whatever he has to do. What I'm saying is, if a guy has a beer, he is not given to it. The guy that's sloshing them down and staggering down the street, he is given to alcohol, right? We're not supposed to. We preachers, we are not supposed to be hospitable. We are supposed to be given to it. Like we can't help it. Your pastor, I'm sitting down there reading my Bible today. I was working on a computer. He comes downstairs, walks through there. He says, anything you need? I said, no, I don't. And it just struck me. I didn't tell you this, but the thought was, and I don't like somebody to serve me. And I had a water glass, and it was about empty. I thought, man, I'm so lazy. I hate to go up there and get iced and water. I should ask him that. And he goes, you need water? I said, yeah, brother, thank you. He says, you want some ice? I said, yeah. You know what that is? That's someone who is given. He's not hospitable. Your pastor's not hospitable. Given to hospitality. I can show you guys who have never been divorced who are not given to hospitality. I can show you this guy. I preached for this guy one time. This is when the boys were still with us. We stayed in his basement like your pastor's basement, except it was his basement. You say, oh, he had a missionary apartment too. No, it was his basement. It was a room in his basement. There was a bunch of boxes. Something had died behind those boxes. He never retrieved the body. It wasn't completely decayed, you could tell.